Here we go, college football playoff week. Got first-round games coming up beginning on Friday with Indiana at Notre Dame. The other three first-round games are on Saturday. Every home team right now favored by 7 points or more, but talking with many of our experts, it seems like they see at least one, maybe even two upsets in this first round. What does Chip Patterson think? We usually have him on in March to take us through the 68-team college basketball bracket. Well, now we go through the 12-team CFP. And let's start with number 12, Clemson, at number 5, Texas. This is the biggest spread of these first-round games, Chip, at 11.5.
And disrespectful to the championship pedigree of Lil Old Clemson, a program that has only been to 6 previous college football playoffs and won a couple national championships. Chris, the thing that I'm looking at here is the way that Texas's offense just has not been effective over the second half of the season. It is a group that I think is better on paper than they are in performance. And while Steve Sarkisian, an expert game planner, play caller, can always dial up the big one, I just feel like they're just gripping it a little too tight down there in Austin. You know, we talk about the basketball tournament, as you mentioned. We like upsets early, big dogs late, a little bit of a preview. I'm following a similar path. I like Clemson to go into Darrell K. Royal Stadium and pull off the upset. I've got the Tigers advancing.
All right, let's move on to the 8-9 game. Always fun in college basketball, even better in college football. Ohio State hosting Tennessee, and this is the tightest spread of the weekend at 7.5.
Yeah, what does Tennessee bring to this game where it'll be chilly and it'll be cold, and you've got an Ohio State team that is trying to get the sour taste of the Michigan loss out of their mouth? Well, they've got an offense and a defense that travels, because defensively, that is where I think the Vols, led by James Pierce and the rest of that defensive line, they're going to absolutely feast on Will Howard and shut down Ohio State's ground game the same way that Michigan was able to do. And when it comes to offensively, I know that Nico Iamaleava has that potential of being able to just spread you out and burn it down the field. But the real strength of this Tennessee offense is running back Dylan Sampson. And again, I look at the Oregon game. Oregon ran the football on Ohio State. I look at the Michigan game. Michigan ran the football on Ohio State. So while we think about Josh Heupel playing with tempo and chucking it around the yard, the path to victory and the path that I think Tennessee takes to winning in Columbus is with a ground game and defense. I've got another upset here. Give me the Vols. Moving on.
If that happens, is Ryan Day fired?
Or leaves on his own accord would be like if we were doing a bar bet, I would say that if Ohio State loses, Ryan Day is coaching somewhere else in 2025.
All right, so Chip Patterson, picking the first-round games, already has 2 outright upsets in the first 2. Let's go to the third game, and this is that weather game that you look at. A team from the south going up north. There's video circulating on social media. Beaver Stadium coated in snow today. SMU average kickoff temperature is over 72 degrees this season, supposed to be about 20 degrees at kickoff.
Yeah, and this SMU team is one that already has had a lot of problem with turnovers this year. You know, they have not won the turnover battle. Across the last 7 games of the season, they only won the turnover battle twice. That includes a lost fumble and interception against Clemson in the ACC championship game that really hurt their start. And, of course, that -6 turnover differential that they had in a near loss to Duke earlier this year. I think the conditions, I think the Penn State defense, I think a lot of this is shaping up for SMU to find themselves in a big-time uphill battle. Chris, I know we've got some of our colleagues here at CBS Sports that are going to be up there as part of the environment. I think it's going to be electric. Not at night, but I guess for like health reasons, it's probably better that it's in the middle of the day. It'll be so daggum cold. But I think SMU is going to be out of place, can't control the ball. I've got Penn State winning.
Well, let's go to a night game the night before. This is Friday night. Indiana going to Notre Dame, and if you're looking for weather, this is the best chance of snow, anywhere between 30 and 50% right now in the forecast for South Bend, Indiana.
Two teams that really mimic each other with the way they want to win at the line of scrimmage first and build things out from there. But I do think that Notre Dame's run game is just a shade better, and that is going to give them a little bit of an edge in what I think is going to be a very competitive game. I mean, this is one where I often don't like to split the baby here. You know, if you think an underdog's going to cover, you should just go ahead and take them to win. But this is the one where I could see this being a 3-4 point type game, but one where I do think that Notre Dame wins, and here here's my X factor. It's going to be red zone opportunities, because what Riley Leonard does with his legs for the Notre Dame offense is he really creates problems for defenses having to understand where the running back is, where the tight end is, the wide receivers, and oh yeah, Leonard punching it in with his legs. And so Notre Dame's red zone execution, I think, is the difference maker here. Closer than the experts are saying, but I think Notre Dame does win.
All right, Chip Patterson with a couple of outright upsets in that first round, and then those last two games holding serve. So these would be the quarterfinal matchups, according to Chip Patterson. Let's start upper left. It's Clemson and Arizona State. You see the seeds, Clemson a 12 seed, Arizona State a 4 seed. But when you go by the actual rankings, it would be Clemson number 16 in the country against number 12 Arizona State in the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, I think this is a rest-rust scenario. I was really wondering where it might pop up even before we got the bracket, and I knew we'd be filling them out. And I think that Arizona State, with all that time off from the Big 12 championship, and what a moment that was to win that game handily, to know that you're going to be in the college football playoff. Clemson, I think, will be playing a little bit looser going into that game, coming off of what I am projecting to be an upset win against Texas. And that's, again, where the experience comes into play, because one thing that I noticed covering that Clemson program during their run of 6 straight college football playoffs is that they do a better job of preparing their team for that 15-game schedule than anybody else in the country. And I think that that is going to be something else that shows up. The experience of being in the postseason versus Kenny Dillingham, who's obviously still very fresh in his head coaching career, but especially for Arizona State, understanding the rhythms of a December, I think that's big advantage for the Tigers. That's why I've got Clemson continuing this Cinderella run.
All right, on to the semis for Clemson. Let's go to the Rose Bowl, which is where you're going to find the #1 team in the country, the only unbeaten team, the Oregon Ducks, awaiting that winner of Ohio State-Tennessee. Chip has Tennessee winning that game, so it's the Vols and the Ducks in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, and this is where I think you're just dealing with a more well-rounded, a more well-balanced, a more consistent, and just generally about a tier better of a team with the Oregon Ducks. And so, even if this is Ohio State, I would still pick Oregon to win that if it's a rematch of the Ducks and Bucks. I just think that what we will see from Oregon, especially in the Rose Bowl, is sort of a triumphant statement of the beginning of their national championship pursuit. So I've got Tennessee here, and Tennessee just doesn't have as many answers. I talked about their defensive line. I talked about their ground game. Well, Oregon's got a really good ground game and a really good defensive line as well. But what they do have with Dylan Gabriel and better wide receivers is a passing attack that I can trust. And so just because Oregon's got so many different ways to beat you and Tennessee needs to kind of keep it within its game, that's where I feel confident that Oregon would win this one. And I think Oregon might also win by a lot.
Okay. 3 of the 4 quarterfinal matchups are on New Year's Day. There's one that's on New Year's Eve, and that's Penn State against Boise in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, this is where everyone thought it's going to be an advantageous path. I do think that Penn State has the defense to slow down Ashton Jeanty. Not many teams have been able to do that this year, but if they can do it, I think that that's where Penn State wins this game. Boise
played Oregon within 3 at Oregon. Penn State lost on a neutral field to Oregon by 8, so keep that in mind. Let's go to Georgia. They're going to be waiting in the Sugar Bowl, and you got them facing Notre Dame.
Yeah, I've got Georgia winning this one. This is probably the tightest one for me to call within the games that we've selected, Chris. But the Bulldogs, I think, are dealing with something special where they're not as talented as teams that have won the title. They certainly aren't getting the same type of high-level play throughout the year. But the way that this Georgia team faced a tougher schedule than any of the title-winning Georgia teams, had to overcome deficits and adversity, I kind of like what Kirby Smart's done in terms of being able to get his finger on the pulse of the locker room. So I don't think they're going to be one and done in this tournament. All
right, so that's the only SEC team in Chip Patterson's semifinals. Only one ACC team, the Clemson Tigers, and 2 Big Ten teams, Penn State and Oregon. Let's go to 1 versus 12, which is #1 versus number 16 in the rankings, Chip. Does Clemson's Cinderella ride continue to the championship?
No, sir. This is when it comes to an end. This is where the Oregon Ducks are, like an NCAA tournament team, able to dispose of Cinderella as our focus turns into the big boys, the heavyweights, the teams that have been at the top of the sport all year, getting ready to go at it. So, much like Sister Jean and Loyola, much like so many Cinderellas of the past, you make it to the Final Four, but when you're in the semifinals, everything gets exposed. I would pick the Ducks big in this one.
All right, so one of these games is going to be in the Orange Bowl. The other one is the Cotton Bowl. It's Georgia-Penn State in your other semi.
What a fantastic game that we would have right here between these two teams, between these two defenses. I think it would be close. I do think it would be lower scoring. But this is where I wonder if all of the big game Penn State panic that we have seen time and time again would rear its ugly head, because Penn State has fallen short against a lot of games against top teams. And you know who's won a lot of those games? The Georgia Bulldogs. And so that's where the big game experience of the Bulldogs helps guide Georgia into the title game.
All right, so the championship game, according to Chip, is going to be number 1 Oregon against number 2 Georgia. And they started the season very close to that as well. Georgia was number 1. Oregon was number 3. Who do you like to win the national championship?
The teacher and the student, Chris. We get Kirby Smart against Dan Lanning with a little whiff of some of those Kirby and Saban matchups that we had over the course of the last 7 to 8 years. And this is one where I think the student ends up getting the better of the teacher. I've got the Oregon Ducks beating Georgia. Oregon has been a more consistent team all season. I think on paper, Oregon is more balanced than Georgia is. And I think that, again, if you have to start going to your plan B, plan C, plan D, for the Georgia Bulldogs, I just don't think they have as many answers as the Ducks do. So I've got the Oregon Ducks remaining undefeated all the way 16-0 as they win the national championship.
In Georgia's backyard in Atlanta, where the national championship will be held. Chip Patterson taking us through his first 12-team college football playoff bracket. You can hear Chip and the crew on the Cover 3 podcast. They just recorded a new one today, breaking down the latest news from the transfer portal and Travis Hunter's Heisman win.